Okay, everything should be fine. This is what you should have got. No errors, no failed to make, nothing like that. Alright, so that's that. Now we need to copy over our stuff. First we'll say copy over system map. System map, what we want to call it. Say boot system map 2.6. We could name it 2.6. But I'm gonna name mine LFS host. Okay? Okay. And then we'll also have to say copy over .config to boot. Now I'm doing a little wildness over here, so watch out. I'm taking out. You saw what I did. Okay, it's cool. LFS host. If you didn't see what I did, you had a dot in front of the config at first, alright? Well, I just put another dot in front of this config over here so I could tab switch, so I didn't have to type out all the config, and I just moved in boot after it, you know what I'm saying? So you would do something like copy dot config space dot tab, you see what I'm saying? Alright? So, but watch out though, if you do it that way and you're not expecting what's going to happen, you're going to hide your config. So say LFS host, and then we have to copy over arch i386 from main, boot, bz image. I'm going to copy that over to boot, and I'm going to name that LFS host. Okay, now that should be over with. We'll list out boot, see if it's up there. It is. Okay, so now we can skimp up one, and we're going to remove Linux without the workload switch. Takes a shorter time. And then, for right now, I'm going to keep the tarbz here, because in the host, in the target LFS, I can just copy from here over to the target. Okay, so that's why I'm going to keep it here. And also too, I have to copy over syslinux too, so that's okay. But that's that. And that's over with. It would be a good idea now, I would say, to change this in grub. First I would see if it's not mounted. So I want to mount dev HDA1, which is where my grub's at. I'll mount that to mount. Let's say by mount boot grub menu.list. Okay, now I want to add this here instead of LFS kernel. Okay, this is what our new kernel we just upgraded here. We'll just take out these lines here. We'll say host. Okay. That should be good to go. Alright, so reboot and exit. And it should reboot back into our new kernel. And it should be good to go. And in the meantime, let's go back in the docs and check out what's going on in here. Let's say by LFS. See what the next steps we are going to need somewhere. Okay, you see we're not even ready to begin to start yet. We still have to config this, and I don't want to config it until I know my kernel's running properly on the other side. Hence the reboot. But we need to be in the chroot environment as said up there, and I'll show you that real quick too. And the chroot environment is here. We have to export a couple variables and stuff like that. That's what's coming up soon. This is our chroot environment, how we're going to do this whole thing here. Okay. And then after that, we can actually just get rid of this text. After we get to part 6, we're done that. Alright, so that's over with. So my machine's rebooted. And we'll go back into it at 192.168.1.118. We'll check it out, make sure everything works okay. Okay, now say uname R. Alright, we got a 2.6 kernel. So we're good to go. That's over with. Let's cat out the boot config file, LFS host, and we'll say something like grep I loop. Okay. So you see now it says config block dev loop support. Yes. Okay. Suppose the other time it said no. Alright, so now we can also go into dev, into the device folder, ls, and we'll say grep loop. See if we have loopback support. And we do. Okay. So that's that. That looks good. I would say now it'd be a good idea, which I'll actually do again. Let's say reboot into our target machine now. It should be added into grub. Okay. We'll reboot into that, and we'll see what we need for that. And this it shouldn't take too long, but it takes a little bit of time. How's my time counter looking here? 7 minutes? Yeah, sure, fine. Great. Super. I can say Control A, Control C. I want to make another one. And I'll cut out the docs. Fire. Say boot easy. That's the wrong docs. Org. So happens when you make tutorials and things just go wrong for you. Let's say the LFS. There we go. These are the right docs. We've got SysLinux. We already downloaded that. That's cool. And this variable up here, this export LFS variable, I'm not really going to worry about that because it gets overwritten by our other variable that we're going to make. We don't need that. But we do got to focus on these here, okay? And that's what we'll do right now. So we'll say SSH to root at 192.168.1.118. This should be our root or target machine now. Okay. And we'll go in there and we'll get stuff all set up. Okay, say DFH. Alright, see we're on HDB2, which is cool. That's where we need to be. It's our target. We'll CD into sources. Okay. And I'm going to remove this old Linux here. Okay. Now, since I had done this before already, my old kernel was still inside of the sources directory here, where I'm at now. Okay, so that's why the old kernel's here. So, if your old kernel's not here, which is probably not going to be, alright, I'm going to show you how to do that right now anyway. But you want to get that old kernel. Get all these out of here. Okay, so we're in sources, right? Okay. Let's say mount v type ext3 dev or what do you call our host system. Let's mount that to mount Okay, and we're going to copy V, actually copy RV, mount sources all here. Okay. Okay. This will save us a trip instead of going back out there and getting it. Alright, it was still over on the other machine, so that's okay. And this is taking forever. But anyway, it saves us a trip from going back out there and downloading something else. We already downloaded it, you know what I mean? So we're okay. Okay, so we're here. Now let's say tar xvf Linux our kernel. Now we're going to configure this for our host, or I'm sorry, our target system. And then it's not expecting it was we're at you would that you downloaded. Alright, so there was really no point for me to put in a tools directory. So that was that. Come on, damn Tucky. Extract. Christmas. The other thing is, there is no other thing. Okay, thank God that's over. Alright, so now we extracted our target machine kernel. We're going to go into it now. We're going to say make mr proper. Okay, clean that all up. And say make menu config. Now I noticed too, I got see a little trail at the end there. I got a whole bunch of stuff there. I think that's because I'm using the screen. I'm not sure. But I get a quick scroll of, oh my god, errors and whatever the hell. But I always got that, so I don't think that's a reason why this doesn't work as good as it thought. So first it says you need init support. So let's go find some init support. It's under General Setup, Initial RAM Disk. Okay. So we'll go to General Setup. We'll go to Initial RAM Disk right here. Alright. Let that be a built-in, no modules. Okay, that's good. Next one says we need block devices, RAM block device support. Okay. So we'll go to General Setup, Device Drivers, Block Devices. It doesn't say we need loopback. I'm going to put loopback in there anyway. Okay. RAM disk support, yes, but we want those to be built in. Okay, so watch the modules. Alright. And then it says here we need ext2 file system support. Okay. So I think that's way back here. Yep. And under the first one we're under file systems. Say ext2. We'll click all these. And I also put ext3 in there. Okay. So that's what I did. No ext4, just ext3. Exit that. And what else do I need? I need ISO 9660 CD-ROM file system support. So that's under file systems. We'll scroll all the way down. We'll say CD-ROM file system support. Okay, that's there. Transparent decompression. I did not click that. I left that one open. Okay. So, and that seems to work fine too on the 2 live CDs that I did create. Those don't have this enabled either, so I'm just gonna leave this as is. Okay. Okay. So I think that's it. That is it. If you need squash, you gotta go get some squash. And I'm done. Yes. Okay. And now we'll say make and make modules underscore install. Yep, go. Alright, so it's going to take a little bit, half hour-ish, something like that, and I'll catch you in the next one.